Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be a disappointing foundations video. I kind of got inspired watching a certain YouTuber's channel today. Her name is Talia. I don't even know if that's how you say it, or Talia. I saw her on Kathleen Light's channel today because she was talking about certain YouTubers that you should be following if you don't follow them. Sorry if my hair is a mess. I really haven't done much of anything today. It has been yet another nor'easter here in New York, and this is like the first time I actually put on makeup today, so if it looks a little bit just thrown together, I'm sorry. I didn't really want to put much effort into it. I just threw on some eyeshadow and some lipstick and went with it. So and I'm wearing my Lisa Frank shirt today. If you guys are fans of 90s or grew up in the 90s, you guys will know exactly what this is. I used to be obsessed with Lisa Frank. I did just pick up this shirt from Hot Topic. You can check it out in my Hot Topic haul if you haven't seen that. So I've just been rocking this. I literally did not change out of my pajama shirt today because what was the point? I just slept in it. So I just kept this on today. And my nails actually match this, which I think is so cute, so that's why I kept it on. I got my nails done yesterday for like the first time in a long time, and this might be the only video that I actually shoot with having my nails done, because I really have been shooting a lot of videos lately. So yeah, I saw her channel and a video of hers today of YouTubers or beauty gurus that you should be following, and I checked out one of... Again, sorry if my voice is still a little bit raspy. I'm like just getting over this cold. I'm still slightly nasally and my throat is still a little bit dry, but I think by tomorrow I'll be 100% recovered, but at least my nose is pretty much not stuffed up anymore. I'm just still a little bit congested, but I definitely feel a lot better than the last video I filmed on the 21 Days of Beauty, which was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So she does these videos, that Talia, she does, or Taylor, I don't even know. She does these videos called 15 Days of Foundation, where she tests out a foundation for 15 days straight. But it kind of inspired me just to tell you guys what my most disappointing foundations have been that I've tried. Most of these foundations I don't own anymore, because if I have tried a disappointing foundation from Sephora now, and usually it's 99% of the time it's from Sephora, because if I buy a certain product from Sephora, I know I'm going to be able to return it. That's why, like, I feel like that's why so many people keep on going back to Sephora, is because you kind of can do like a trial and error kind of thing, and if you end up not liking the product, you can just go return it, which I really like, that there's like no pressure. And I feel like that kind of encourages people either to like do an exchange or to like come back and try something different, which I think is great. Yes, you can test out whatever you want from Sephora. You can just get a sample. For me, I just love buying everything. I love buying new makeup. I actually just did another full declutter of more products, and I will be posting that soon, of a part 2 declutter video of decluttering more lipsticks. And I did that more like kind of a products I've used up / declutter video, so that'll be up really soon before this video. So let's get into these foundations. So I'm going to start with the ones that I actually own, and then I'm going to go into ones that I have returned in the past. So the first one is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer, and this one is in the shade 0.5 Breeze. I just didn't really ever find myself being obsessed with this foundation. This is definitely by far probably my favorite foundation out of this whole video. I actually really like how this looks on my skin. I just never thought it lasted enough. I never really liked how it felt on my skin. I just didn't think it was that comfortable. I didn't think the shade was that great either. I also didn't really love the applicator, and I just think that I have other foundations that I would reach over this one. I can't really put my finger on why I don't like this foundation. I just never really was like crazy about it on my skin. It's a good foundation, but I just don't find that it lasts as long as other people say it does. I got this foundation because of Candy Johnson. I'm pretty sure I've told you guys like a million times how much I love the YSL Touche Éclat foundation. I'm so upset that they discontinued that foundation, but I got that foundation because of her, and she used to rave about that foundation so much until she got this one. And I think the only reason why she still talks about this foundation is that she did have a partnership with Clinique for a while on promoting this foundation. But she obviously started loving it way before she started promoting it or had like a campaign with them. But I just don't think it's anything that special. I feel like I have other foundations that I love so much more that are full coverage foundations, like the Lancome Teint Idol. I will wear that over any other foundation. That's like my holy grail ride or die foundation. I love that foundation so much. And I don't know, I don't think I ever really just gave this a real shot. I mean, I did, but every time I would wear it, I felt like it looked too dewy. I felt like it wasn't enough coverage, and I felt like it kind of sunk into my pores, and it would kind of start breaking up after like a few hours. So for what it is, I thought it would just last a lot longer on my skin, and I found that that wasn't the case. So this one is just a no-go for me. I'm still keeping it in my collection. This was like the one I just like have put it to the side. I'm probably going to declutter it though. This is probably like 2 years old anyway. And this says it's 24 months, which is actually a pretty good shelf life for a foundation. Most foundations usually last a year. But I usually am really, really good about using up foundations. Foundations usually are never really like a waste of money for me because I always end up finishing them. Because obviously foundations I'm going to wear a lot more than like certain eyeshadows every day because I wear foundation like 5 or 6 days a week. I'm not wearing foundation today. I'm just wearing concealer. I wanted to give my face a break. But again, I just was never too crazy about this. Also because it always ended up being too late for me to return this foundation. Maybe I should have tried and exchanged it like a year ago. Maybe they would have let me do that, which I probably should have done because I ended up doing that with like a Stila lipstick like last year when I got the Makeup Forever lipstick. But yeah. I don't find it to be a waste of money though, because at least I liked this foundation enough. I probably liked this foundation the most out of all the other foundations I'm going to be talking about, except for one foundation that ended up just looking like really funky on me. I don't know why, but I will tell you guys about that in a minute. But yeah, let's stop talking about this one. This one is obviously by Clinique, and this one retails. I wanted to give you guys the prices of these foundations, so let me just pull up Sephora's website really quick. I know, I'm just like the best YouTuber in the universe, right? Clinique. This foundation retails for $29, so it's actually the most reasonable high-end price foundation. That's why I don't really like regret it, because at least it wasn't like a huge investment for me. I mean, it was under 30 bucks, which I think is a really good price. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation. Now, I have only probably worn this foundation maybe 5 times since I've gotten it. I've basically already written it off because, one, this is in the shade Porcelain. This is not porcelain at all. I did talk about this foundation in my drugstore review video of drugstore foundations. Like I did a whole like drugstore foundation review video where I reviewed like 10 foundations. And this one was definitely probably the worst foundation that I have tried. It smells so chemically. It's super yellow on my skin. It really just doesn't have great coverage, and I just don't like the smell at all, and it's super yellow. This retails for I think about $8.99, and you can get it from Ulta. This is probably like one of the only foundations I'm going to be talking about that's not from Sephora. But I really wish I could have returned this foundation and gotten something else from the drugstore. I'm just not a huge fan of LA Girl cream products. I'm not a huge fan of their concealer, but for some reason I've misplaced their concealer. I don't know where it is right now. I just cleaned up my concealers in my bathroom right before I filmed this video, and for some reason my LA Girl concealer isn't where it's supposed to be, so I don't know where that is. But anyway, yeah, I just really wish I could have returned this foundation because I never really liked how it looked on my skin. It's just okay, but I've never fallen in love with this. So I really just don't reach for this at all. I definitely reach for other drugstore foundations over this that are so much better, like my Physicians Formula foundation, the No. 7 foundation, the L'Oreal True Match, Those are all amazing foundations that this one just went to the back burner for me. I just threw it in my cabinet and I might wear it at some point, but honestly, I've gotten so many new foundations from Sephora that I actually really do like over this one that I'm just probably never going to reach for this again. Maybe I'll test it out like in a month from now when I'm not testing out so many foundations and see how I feel, but honestly, this is just a no-go for me. It's really not that good. So you can find this at Ulta. And it retails from like $7.99 to like $8.99, I'm pretty sure. I know this was at least $7.99. But I think this one I got for free when I did my buy two get one free at CVS, because it was LA Girl was buy two get one free when I got it. I had to fight with the CVS manager for like 10 minutes. Not like fight, but just like tell them like, hey, this is what it says in your promo. But I've said that like a million times. But yeah, just I'm not a fan of this foundation. Okay, then the next foundation, it's not exactly, you know what, we'll save this till the end because this one really isn't like a disappointment. It's just like kind of a complaint about it. So we're going to move on to the Makeup Forever Aqua Foundation. I'm also going to insert screen caps of every foundation that I'm going to be talking about. So let me just insert what it looks like right here. You know what? Forget it. We're just going to pull up images on my phone every time that I talk about a foundation. And if I forget one, I'll just look at my list at the end and tell you guys the only reason why I didn't want to pull it up on my phone is because I have like a full list on my phone of what foundations I'm going to be talking about. So let's bring up the Makeup Forever. I don't know why my computer's running so hot right now. Let's just close all of these videos that I have open. Okay. Okay, so the Makeup Forever Water Blend Face and Body Foundation retails for $43. And this foundation comes in like a really good shade range. Makeup Forever is a really, really good about their shade ranges. They come out with like at least 20 shades every time they launch a foundation. So I'm glad that they've always catered to different skin tones. But for some reason, I've never really fallen in love like hardcore with a Makeup Forever foundation. So this one is the Makeup Forever Water Blend Foundation. So that's what the bottle looks like. And it's a really nice like frosted glass packaging, and I think I said it retails for $43. The shade was great for me. Loved like the way that it felt in the store, like when I swatched it on my hand. But as soon as I put this foundation on my face, I was like, what the hell is this? I did a whole first impressions video on this foundation, bitching about it for a straight 40 minutes on how much I did not like this foundation. The fact that a high-end foundation, it's a foundation, doesn't have even half as much coverage as a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream. This looked so cakey on my skin. I tried it in every single different way to make this foundation work. I tried it with my favorite primer, my Stila primer, and then I tried it with a brush, then I tried it with a beauty blender, then I tried it with a different powder to see if it would look better. I tried every single method in that video, and I was like, I just cannot get this foundation to work. I could not get it to work on my nose to save my life. I would give this foundation 0 stars if I could, but this was like literally probably the biggest disappointing product that I've ever tried before, and I really don't try disappointing products. I really do my research before I purchase something, and I feel like as long as something has like a little bit of pigmentation or a little bit of coverage, I'm gonna love it. Like, I'm not really that picky about makeup, but honestly this, I just wouldn't recommend it to anyone. It had no coverage. I had to do 3 layers of this foundation, and then it did not feel weightless at all. It felt incredibly cakey on my skin. It felt really uncomfortable on my skin. I was like, this is supposed to be a weightless foundation. It's a water-based foundation. It should be better, and it wasn't. The only, I really like the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation that I've been trying lately, so I would definitely recommend that. And I would also recommend the Tarte Rainforest of the Seawater Foundation. so much better than this one. It has such nice coverage, and it looks so natural on the skin that I only need one layer of that, and then I was good to go. This did not have the same effect. Like, this was just horrible on my skin, so I would not recommend this foundation at all. It was horrible, so I had to straight up return it right after I got it. So now let's bring up another foundation that I felt completely the opposite about at first. So this one is by Laura Mercier, and this one is, if I could find it, the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Soft Luminous Foundation. So this is what the packaging looks like, and this one retails for $48, and this was the first foundation that I had ever purchased from Laura Mercier. I always heard like amazing things about her products, especially about her powders and her foundation, so I really wanted to try one of her foundations. I'm wearing her highlighter today. One of her highlighters. I haven't worn this one in a while, so I wanted to whip it out and use it today. Sorry, one of my friends was texting me about a paint night next week. Next week is my spring break. And my classes got canceled today, and they also got canceled tomorrow. I actually have plans to go to the city with my boyfriend tomorrow, so at least I'm getting out of the house tomorrow because today I didn't go anywhere. So yeah, this is the Soft Luminous Foundation by Laura Mercier, and this one retails for $48. And this comes in a pretty wide range of shades as well. Not that many shades, but it comes out, I think it's like 20 shades, mostly catering to more lighter skin tones, which isn't the greatest thing. So when I got this foundation at first, I freaking was in love with this foundation. I loved how it looked on my skin. I wore this like for a week straight. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, for some reason, after I started using this foundation more and more, like further down from when I first purchased it, it was just for some reason not looking good on my skin anymore, and I have no idea why. I don't know if it was just because of the sponge I started using. I don't think this was during when I switched over to a Real Technique sponge, since I stopped buying the Beauty Blender because the Beauty Blender is just so overpriced. I also stopped using foundation brushes for my foundation. You guys know I'm like a huge sponge lover. I love makeup sponges. I don't like foundation brushes. But this looked so beautiful on my skin. I loved it, and I really wanted to keep this foundation because I absolutely loved it on my skin. So I just don't know what happened, but I ended up having to return it. So yeah, for some reason, this, like the exact opposite happened with this foundation with me, and that has never ever happened to me with any other foundation. I don't know what happened, but for some reason it just wasn't looking good on my skin anymore. When I first had it, I was obsessed with it. I was wearing like every single day. It looks so beautiful on my skin. I definitely mentioned this in some favorites videos when I first got it. And then for some reason it looked very textured on my skin around my nose area, and it just looked very dry and flaky, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And it's not like the foundation was that old. It was probably only a few months old, so I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. It was just really weird. Maybe it just started to go bad. Maybe it was just like an expired, I mean, I never even looked at the expiration date. I just straight up returned it because I was like, this is not looking good anymore, and I have no idea why. So I ended up having to return it, and I have no idea what the problem was. So that was that foundation. Okay, then the next foundation is probably one of the most expensive on this list. This is the Hourglass Seamless Finish Foundation Stick, and this is what the foundation looks like. This was the first stick foundation that I had ever purchased because I've always heard so many good things about stick foundations that I really wanted to purchase one and try one out for myself. And this foundation, when it first came out, everyone was talking about it. And this one retails for $46, and it comes in a wide variety of shades, which I think is pretty good. Its darkest shade looks pretty dark. It comes in like basically 5 different colors for each skin tone, which I think is pretty standard for most foundations, so I think that's pretty good. And I believe I got the color Shell, which is like the lightest one right here. And yeah, this one retails for $46, which everybody says is so overpriced for a, I don't care about, I don't know why she's sending me this stuff. Sorry, my friend is like really distracting me, so now she's sending me something I don't care about. So anyway, this foundation retails for $46, and I just thought it was completely overpriced when I first got it. Hourglass products are super expensive. I've never said that they're not expensive. I do use the finishing powder like every single day to finish my makeup. I love it. I do love their powder products, and I have a couple of their blushes, and I'm not like too crazy about them. I like Hourglass as a brand, but again, like their stuff is very expensive. So anyway, I bought this because everyone was talking about it. That's mostly the reason why I got it, and also because I've never tried an Hourglass foundation before, that I felt that this one was the most in my price range, because some of their foundations retail for like 50 bucks or more. And when I tried it, I just thought it looked super matte and dry on my skin. I just could not get it to work. I thought it looked very heavy on my skin, and it was very dry on my forehead area. And just like, I'm just not a huge fan of matte foundations. I prefer something much more dewy. That's why I love the number 7 or the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, foundations like that. But I also just thought that it didn't really do anything for my skin. It had really nice coverage, but I still don't think it was that good enough of a foundation for me to keep it. So I ended up returning this foundation. It's not like I hated it, I just thought it looked too heavy on my skin. And again, I just haven't really found a stick foundation that I've completely fallen in love with. I actually just returned another stick foundation that I'm about to talk to you guys about, so I'm going to pull up that one. And this one is the, if I can find it, the Lancome Taint Idol Ultra Longwear Foundation Stick SPF 21. So this is what the foundation looks like. And I believe I was in the color Ivory, which is the first one that I pull up. And this one retails for $42. So that's what that one looks like. First off, this one is probably the most overpriced foundation because it's literally this big. Like, the stick is so tiny. Like, this makes it look like you're getting a lot more of like a bigger tube. But honestly, this is so freaking tiny. Like, you can barely like make this last more than like a few months, I would think. So I picked this up a couple of weeks ago in my Sephora haul, and I actually haven't talked about that I've returned it yet because I haven't had a favorites video come up yet. But I tried it a couple of times, and I just was never that crazy about it. I just think, again, it wasn't really blending into my skin that well. It kind of felt a little dry on my skin. It kind of flaked a little bit around my nose. And I just wasn't too crazy about the finish of it, that I was like, this is too expensive for me to keep, that I ended up returning it last week. I am completely in love with the Taint Idol foundation, the liquid one. I just think I prefer mostly liquid foundations. I don't have any powder foundations besides the Giorgio Armani, but I definitely prefer liquid foundations, and that one's like my holy grail. So I really wanted to try this one out. Also because Nicole Guerrero like constantly raves about this one as being her favorite stick foundation. The only stick foundation that I have kept that I do like is the Makeup Forever one. That one's actually pretty good. That's actually the only Makeup Forever foundation that I have in my collection right now, because I actually just decluttered my Ultra HD one. But again, I've never been too crazy about a Makeup Forever foundation. I was dying to try the Face and Body one, but then they discontinued that, and then I tried the Water Blend. And I trusted Kathleen Lights with that one. She said that she was never really like a huge fan of the Water Blend. She said it was good, but she said it was never as good as her Face and Body, so I wish I would have tried that one. So this one just wasn't really anything that special. I just found that it just didn't really do much for me, so I returned that one. Okay, then the next one, I have to go refer to my list now because I'm like, actually, we're almost done. I only have like 2 or 3 more to talk about. So let's pull up this guy. This one's kind of similar to the Clinique foundation for me. I'm going to pull up this guy. Now, usually when I think about purchasing a certain foundation, I'll mostly 99% of the time trust Jaclyn Hill's opinion, Kathleen Light's opinion, Young Wild and Polish's opinion, or Nikki Tutorials. I find that they're like my 4 go-to YouTubers. And I love Charisma Star too, but she ends up using like It Cosmetics all the time, and I'm just like not a huge fan of It Cosmetics anymore because they just really don't cater to other skin tones, and I think it's bullshit, honestly. Like, if you guys think that Tarte is bad, It Cosmetics comes out with like 7 shades with all of their foundations, and they're like the one high-end brand that does that. But then they're always talking about how like diverse and different they are, and saying that other girls need to shine with their beauty. And it's like, well, obviously you're only talking to white girls then, because you really don't cater to anybody else. You come out with like one deep skin tone. Like Tarte comes out with 15 shades of a foundation and everybody throws a fit. Which, yes, it's not right what they did, but at least it brought to the forefront of how controversial foundation shades are in the makeup industry. It's really, really sad. So anyway, the next one is the Josie Maran Vibrancy Argan Oil Foundation Fluid. And I got this foundation because ever since before Jaclyn Hill picked up the Dior Skin Star Forever foundation, this was her absolute favorite foundation of all time. So I really wanted to pick it up and try it out for myself. And when I got it, I was never obsessed with this foundation. Yes, it was a good foundation, but I never was like completely obsessed with it. I don't really have any products from Josie Maran, but for some reason this one was the thing that I was the most interested in, just because she loved it and just because I really wanted to try. I'm not saying, oh my god, I love everything Jaclyn Hill tries. No, it's just because like she usually consistently talks about a product for months. If she loves it, she's going to talk about it like all the time, which I do love about her. And then she'll like find something even better and then talk about that. Like she just won't like just completely write off a product. Like she'll find something better. So, and the Dior Skin Forever foundation, I absolutely am in love with. I love that foundation so much. Yes, the Lancome did replace that one for me. They're so similar. And I'm almost tempted to wear the Dior foundation to the city tomorrow, but I'm really going for my Lancome tomorrow. But I'll see which one I want to wear. I definitely want to wear one of the 2, or my Giorgio Armani Power Fabric foundation. So it's one of the 3. So anyway, just this one, yes, it was dewy, and it was a matte foundation, and it did have nice coverage and whatever. I just was never that crazy about it. I did have this a while ago, so I don't remember my full thoughts on it. I just remember that I wasn't in love with it. This one retails for $45, and it only comes in about, it looks like there's only about 15 shades here, which again isn't too bad. But again, it's like some of these foundations have been out for such a long time that they could work on different skin tones. But also it does depend on how the foundation sells. And if this wasn't a great seller for her, maybe that's why she hasn't made more shades. But still, like if that's one of your only foundations, maybe you should make some more shades. Then maybe you might sell some more foundation. So then the next one is a NARS foundation. Let's pull up this guy. And then we have one more foundation to talk about, and then we're done. So this is the NARS Sheer Glow foundation. Now, for me, I've never really gotten a NARS foundation to work for me. I mean, yes, granted, this is the only other NARS foundation that I have tried. I just picked up the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation, which I actually am a huge fan of. It's a really, really nice foundation. The last time I wore it, which was last night, it held up really beautifully. It looked really pretty on the skin. I think the only thing that broke up a little bit was around my nose, and it looked a little bit textured here, but it looked really beautiful all over the rest of my face. But I don't think that one's as long wearing as my other long wearing foundations are. It's just really, has a really beautiful finish to it, so I definitely am a fan of that one. This one I got in the shade, I think it was, I don't even know if they have my shade in here. Was it Siberia? No, it can't be Siberia. Was it Siberia? Am I that freaking pale? Light with neutral balance of pink and yellow undertones. It might have been that one. It definitely wasn't Gobi, which probably would have been a better foundation for me. Or maybe or Fiji. Like, I know that they came out with more colors in this. I think it was Siberia. Oh my god. This was just, again, this was just too white on my skin tone. It retails for $47, which again, NARS is a pretty pricey brand as well. But I just found that everyone was telling me when I wore this foundation that I looked like a pale ghost. And I find that to be the same case with the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. But I found that this one looked more dry on my skin than that one. At least the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation has beautiful coverage, but I never wear that by itself anymore. I always mix it with something else because it just looks too white on my skin and it has such horrible flashback that I have to mix it with something. And this one was kind of the same deal. It really did remind me of the All Nighter foundation. I thought they were very similar in color, but this one was just too white on my skin, so I ended up returning it just because of the shade. But I ended up purchasing another NARS foundation that I'm ending up really, really loving. So I've always wanted to try, like, or give, like, other brands a chance, especially when it comes to foundation. Like, I want to try, like, so many foundations all the time that you always have to be, like, really picky. Or I want to try, like, almost every single brand's foundation because foundation, I do really love foundation. Foundation's a little bit of my thing. Just because I hadn't worn it for like such a long time, and it's just like easy to test out foundations. It's not like as overwhelming as like eyeshadows and lipsticks and stuff. You know what's funny is that I forgot to conceal this when I was doing my makeup before. Like, I put on concealer, but I forgot to put it on my blemishes here, but whatever. We're almost done with this video anyway. Okay, and then the last foundation is by Marc Jacobs. And we're just going to pull up that guy. And this one is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate. And this one is probably the most expensive out of all the foundations because it's Marc Jacobs. And this one retails for $55. And this one comes in a pretty reasonable shade range, like 15 to 20 shades. And I believe the color that I picked up was Ivory Light 10. And I never, like, didn't like this foundation, but there were so many things that people were saying about this foundation that just made me hesitant to keep it. And also because I think I exchanged this for the NARS one or the Josie Maran one, and then I ended up returning that one too. But I know when I got this foundation, or when I returned it, I definitely did exchange it for something else. I didn't just straight up return it. So, well, I mean, obviously I returned it, but I exchanged it to get something else. And I just found that this was just too much coverage for me. It was too matte for me. And again, I was just too afraid to wear it all the time because I thought it was just going to be too much coverage and make it, like, too cakey on my skin. I did like how it looked, but I think I only tried it out, like, a couple of times before I ended up returning it. I still don't own a Marc Jacobs foundation in my collection because, again, I just think it's too overpriced. I've still tried Dior, YSL, and Giorgio Armani foundations, though, which are pretty much the same price as this, and this is actually cheaper than some of those foundations. Maybe I'll try a Marc Jacobs foundation a little bit further down the road, but right now, I really have no interest. But, again, like, this foundation, you're only supposed to put on, like, 3 drops, and it's supposed to cover your entire face. So you're supposed to put, like, 1 on each cheek and then, like, 1 on your nose. And then you just put it all over your face. And it did cover my entire face. It was insane, like, how much coverage it actually had. But I just thought it made my skin look a little bit too dry. I was just never that crazy about it. And I think that's all of the foundations I wanted to talk about. There are other products that I could talk about, but I just wanted to make this strictly a foundation video. The only other one I wanted to mention is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation in the shade Creamy Vanilla. I'm so upset that I didn't get my actual shade in this. Not that this is a bad shade for me. This looks so gorgeous when you first put it on, but I find that it does not last up to the claims that it says. So I just wanted to mention that. This one is like $10. I'll still wear this foundation when I can. I haven't worn it in quite a while, but I've been becoming such a big fan of Milani products. But this one is definitely like, it's not that great. This one's definitely better than the concealer though. I find that the foundation is definitely better than the concealer. But it's just a little bit too yellow on my skin. And this one retails for like $10 or $11, I believe. And it comes in, and obviously you can find it at Ulta or CVS. Actually, they don't carry Milani at my Ulta, but they do carry it online. But it says 24-hour foundation, I believe. And it says medium to full coverage, lightweight, oil-free formula, long-wearing, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. I don't think it really lives up to its claims. But it does look gorgeous and flawless when you first put it on. But it does not last as long as some of my other foundations. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this video wasn't too long. So please like and subscribe. Let me know what your disappointing foundations have been or any other disappointing products that you would like to share with me. I don't really post disappointing product videos that often because, again, I usually do return things that I am disappointed in because I want the money back, you know? Like, I'm not just going to keep it in my collection and save it for a disappointing products video because that's a waste of money for me. So obviously I'm going to go return it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye! Okay, so I know that this is like way later than when I actually filmed this video. Like at least 2 or 3 months later. I think I filmed it back in like March and I'm finally getting around to posting it. I filmed it back like in March when there was like a blizzard outside and I was snowed in, so I really wanted to film something. And I have one more foundation I want to comment on. So I wanted to talk about the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna foundation. And I believe I purchased it in the shade 120 when I bought it. I'm just going to pull up my Sephora track history. I think I purchased it in the latest shade. And I wanted to tell you guys why I returned it. I keep on forgetting to record this clip, and that's why I haven't like posted the video. That's why I haven't posted the video yet. That's why I posted the products I want to declutter video first, because I also filmed that video a long time ago. I think I got 120. I think they gave me the neutral undertones one. Anyway, so it's the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation, and I bought it because I saw Stephanie Nicole talk about it, and I know I always bring her up on my channel, but she's one of my all-time favorite beauty bloggers. She's just one of the most honest beauty bloggers ever, and I usually always trust her opinion when she talks about certain products, but there's even products that she uses that don't work for me. I don't like this foundation. I also didn't like the It Cosmetics by Pores foundation concealer. I think it's way too thick for me. I'm also trying out new concealers that I don't really like lately. So I feel like I want to do like a concealer fails video as well, because I do have a few that I did return as well, like the Smashbox one, the Laura Mercier one, and a couple new concealers that I've been trying out. But anyway, so I got it because it said soft matte, and I have a soft matte foundation that I already am a pretty big fan of, and that's the Burberry Soft Matte Cashmere Foundation. I picked that one up at Marshall's, so I got that for like 15 bucks. It was such a great buy, and I love that foundation. It is truly a soft matte foundation. It's super comfortable on the skin, looks so good. It has a soft matte appearance to it, and that's why I love it. So I thought that that was going to be kind of the same thing for the Fenty Beauty, and I felt like the Fenty Beauty was basically the same as the NARS Sheer Glow to me. I felt like it kind of had the same consistency. It looked like even the same shade. It just made me look like a ghost. And that was like similar to the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation as well. I still prefer that foundation over the Fenty Beauty and the NARS Sheer Glow. They were just like such mask-like foundations for me that I just don't need that type of coverage. I'm not really into those kind of foundations. Excuse me. The most full coverage foundations that I wear right now is the MAC Pro Longwear foundation, which I love. It's such a great foundation. That one lasts such a long time. I love it. And the NARS Natural Radiant All Day Longwear foundation, and also the Giorgio Armani Powder Fabric foundation. Those are And like a couple of drugstore foundations are more full coverage for me. Like I mentioned the Milani one in this video. But this one was just, it was too dry on my skin, like way too dry. I felt like it just sucked up all the moisture out of my skin, and I just had to return it. I just wasn't crazy about it. Every time I put it on, I felt like it was super dry around my nose area. I tried it out like, excuse me, like 3 or 4 times before I actually did return it. And once I tried it the 4th time, I was like, this kind of just isn't for me. So I did end up returning it. I still have her highlighter. I still have her lipstick. I actually have the lipstick right in front of me. I am such a fan of this lipstick. The Mademoiselle lipstick in the shade Single. So good. I just wore this a couple of days ago. It's one of my all-time favorite lipstick formulas. It's so dope. I love this. And I also love her highlighter. I love the Kilowatt Freestyle highlighter. I have that too. So I definitely love both of those, but the foundation was not for me. I would like to try a couple more of her highlighters and possibly some of her glosses at some point. So I probably won't get the eyeshadows though, but this is not a video about those. This is about the foundation. So I returned the foundation, and I also returned the Laura Mercier concealer as well. That one didn't work for me either. So now let's jump back into the rest of the video. Also, one more thing. I have tried out a lot of foundations lately, and this might seem like it's a lot of foundations that I'm talking about. I have about 20 foundations in my collection right now, so it's not like every time I pick a foundation, I go and return it. It's only when I know like I don't really like it, I'm gonna go return it. I have kept most of the foundations from Sephora that I've picked up recently, like the Makeup Forever Stick Foundation, the Lancome Taint Idol Foundation, the Dior Skin Forever Foundation, the NARS All Day Wear Foundation, the, what's the other one? The Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Foundation. So it's like 5 new foundations from Sephora. And then I also got the Burberry Soft Cashmere Foundation and the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Concealer, both Serum Foundation, both at Marshall's. So, but I'm always constantly testing out new foundations. There are still some I regret buying, but you work with what you have, and there's just ones I end up reaching for over other ones, and mostly all of those I have been using. And there's also a lot of drugstore foundations that I fall in love with as well. So if you want to check out that video of my battle of the drugstore foundations, go check it out. That's a really good video, I think, to just like tell you guys of my thoughts on cheaper alternatives so you don't feel like you're wasting your money on high-end foundations, or you just don't have the money to make the investment in a high-end foundation. But I just wanted to show you, like, change it up a little bit and share with you guys some things that I'm not too crazy about. And I don't really do that all the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go sit on my ass now and watch some more. I think I'm going to watch the IT Crowd. I did finish Parks and Rec last night. And I did watch 2 episodes of Stranger Things earlier today. So I'm really, really into that show. I'm in the 2nd season already, and I'm probably going to be done with it pretty soon. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully my throat will clear up soon. So bye.